Okay, I think we are live. We are live. Monica, hello, how are you?
I'm doing great, Sarah. How are you?
I am fantastic. I'm just going to pop over in the group and see if. Oh, I see us. Okay, we are live, and we'll just go ahead and get started here, and hopefully people will jump in and join us. But I wanted to give a little background about how we know each other. We've known each other forever, I think.
A
I think
long
you
time.
are.
I think since near both when we started blogging, which was a long time ago.
It's been years, I think. We've been
Yeah.
blogging buddies for probably 4 years maybe? Have I been blogging?
Yeah.
I don't even remember. I don't know. I don't know, but it just seems like so long. And I'm so excited because you are doing something that I really never like doing with this sponsored
Oh,
post. I just have never been able to, I've done some, and the ones that I've done have worked out pretty well, but it seems like such an effort for me to do it. And
mhm.
you have totally cracked the code, right?
I hope so. I think so.
So tell us a little bit about, about how did you get to this point where you did 100 sponsored posts last year, right?
It was, 100 sponsored posts in 2015. So in
In,
a 365-day period.
in 2015.
So yes, in
Not
2015.
Okay, in 2015. Okay. So tell me, how did that possibly happen? What is this craziness? How did you make it?
Well, I'll tell you, I started blogging kind of small, just I think the way everyone does. And, um, my husband was pretty clear early on. He was like, you can't take money from the grocery budget to pay for blogging. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to figure out a way to make an income from blogging. And so I was, I even took an internship very early on, and I worked under another larger blogger just to kind of get ideas as to how things would work. And then I went to a few blog conferences. And then as my audience grew and I finally got Google AdSense working, which was good because that basically helped the blog pay for itself.
Mhm,
It was at some of the blog conferences that I learned about influencer networks.
mhm,
And so I started to apply to influencer networks, and I had this really great audience. I was blogging about my preschool activities at home with my kids, and I was sharing a lot of free printables and some of the activities we were doing. And I was getting really great comments from teachers and even grandparents who were using the activities. So I had a
mhm,
really engaged audience. It was growing really quickly. And so then when I applied for influencer networks, I was able to offer a really engaged audience to them, and I was able to offer my audience some really great solutions.
mhm,
And so that's kind of how it started. And then I just really made it my mission to treat it like a professional and to treat it like a business. And so I always met my deadlines. I always made sure that I offered up the best photography that I could. My skills improved over time. So at first, my photos weren't that great. But I think that anyone that was working with me could tell that I took it very seriously and that I was going to perform and do the very best that I could. And then over time, it just grew and developed, and then it became easier and easier to get sponsored work. And then since then it's moved into actually working one-on-one with brands and even developing some of my own preschool products for my site. So it's been an exciting journey, and it takes time and it takes focus. One of the things that really helped me, and one of the things that I really lent itself to doing this type of work, is I have an MBA in international business. So
mhm,
whenever I look at something, I always look at it from a business perspective. So even if it was a small campaign or a small job, when I started with the smaller ones, I still treated it like a business transaction. And a lot of the things that I do when I look at a campaign and I look at an influencer network and the brands that they're working with, I always think about what is the brand trying to do? And I
mhm,
try to make sure that whatever I do comes up underneath them and really truly supports them.
mhm.
So I do a lot of research, and that's what I teach in my course. So eventually this has led to the buildup of a course. So when I told them that I had done 100 sponsored posts in a year, they were kind of like surprised. And to be surprising, but they were curious about, well, what did you do? And so that's kind of how I worked my way into creating this course.
Mhm,
Conference in Salt Lake City, Utah in February of this year. And
mhm,
so I spoke at that conference, and the course that I created is 9 Essential Steps to Rock Sponsored Posts. And again, that's just kind of how the journey has had me started. Mm-hmm. So, and now I have the ability to teach other bloggers how to take this process, mm-hmm. repeat it, and get themselves booked up with work mm-hmm. into the foreseeable future. So, and the process works because I've had some really great student testimonials come out of the course.
Mm-hmm. So tell us. Gosh, I'm getting an echo. Oh.
A little bit.
Oh, I don't know what that's. You know what? Maybe it's. Let me close that up. Okay. Tell me, what are some of the things that that your students are seeing? Like, what? Tell some of the stories that you've got. Going from like not knowing how to do a sponsored post or how to have success to making it through your course and having some great stuff happen.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, even before I spoke at BYBC in Salt Lake, Utah, in February, I did a bunch of research. So for me, it's one thing for me to know how to do something and to make a repeatable process and continually do it. Mm-hmm. And it's another thing to teach it altogether. So what I really wanted to make sure was that the course was really well-rounded and that it would be something that could help bloggers at all stages. So I've had bloggers go through the course that were, one gal in particular, Brianna, she had only been blogging for 5 days. Oh. And so now she's been in the course for 90 days. She's been accepted to 6 different influencer networks.
Oh, wow.
She actually has gotten her first affiliate payout. She's got her blog up to 1,000 page views a month, which I know isn't a lot, but for her, that's like, wow. And then I've got another set of women, the Design Twins, Julie and Jody, and they each have over 100,000 each on their Instagram following. So together they have over 200,000 on Instagram.
Oh my God.
and when I met them at the conference, they were both so frustrated. They were just like, how do you make any money at this blogging thing? And they were kind of like, I think they were just frustrated. It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to develop an audience on any platform. And I can totally see why they were frustrated. Mm-hmm. So my course gives bloggers the tools they need. It's business essentials. Again, this is from my background. Before I became a blogger, I worked for the way that company ran was we had processes in place, we had systems in place. And so what I want to give bloggers is the tools to set that up. You cannot do, like I did, 100 sponsored posts in 365 days if you don't have a system set up. So that's one of the very first things that I teach is how to get your ducks in a row so that you can proceed to pitch and land campaigns. Mm. So I taught the Design Twins about this system, and I also share how to pitch.
You're frozen. Are you there?
I'm sorry, did it freeze up?
Oh, okay, you're back.
Okay.
Okay,
sorry.
Good. That's okay.
Okay, it froze for a second. Some business tools to start out with, and then also in the course I cover how to pitch, how to negotiate, how to price your stuff. I cover all that stuff based on some standards in the industry. And the Design Twins took that information and they went, I think they were making like 0 when they started 90 days ago. And now they've told me about 2 different brands that have contacted them. They've negotiated for $450 per post. They took a, what is it called? Like a product review. Mm-hmm. They got free yarn to make this giant blanket. Well, they made the giant blanket, and the only payment they got initially was the yarn itself.
Okay.
Well, we talked about it in class how we don't want to do product reviews because all businesses need cash flow. And we talked about how, bloggers have an ongoing expense. You've got to keep the website up. You've got to make sure that your site can't be hacked. You've got all this protection software that you have to pay for. You probably have pop-ups and email service that you have to pay for. You may have a VA. I mean, there's all these ongoing expenses. If you accept a product without any cash payment, you're cutting yourself short and you're making it hard for your business to thrive. And so the Design Twins went back. They found another manufacturer of yarn skeins, and they negotiated. They got $1,000 worth of free product. They got a generous affiliate payout for any sales that they make from that page. They got cash for the post, and they've got new business partners in the future for future sponsored posts. So that's what the course is about. It's about the mindset of working with small businesses that fit your niche, that fit your audience, and coming together with them and finding a way to generate a cash flow for your business in a way that's really going to benefit for your audience. And so that's what the course is all about.
So they actually had already written the post, but they weren't getting, it hadn't been a sponsored post. So they actually took an existing post and they found a sponsor.
Yes.
And they got paid after the fact. That is so cool.
Well, what happened is, so here's what happened. They were working with small business A, and small business A said, okay, I'll give you the yarn, but that's all I'm going to give you, and you can do a post for me. And they were like, okay, I guess this is just how this works. We'll accept the free product and we'll do this post. And maybe they were thinking they'd make money off of the traffic. I don't know. Maybe that's what they were thinking. So then they come to my course and we talk about and we strategize how to take a product review and how to turn that into a sponsored post. And then they knew they did try to go back to company A, but company A said, no, I'm not going to pay you cash. So they said, okay, this thing's going gangbusters. Our audience loves it. So we need to do something else. So then I said, why don't you approach company B over here and talk to them?
Oh, you're frozen again. Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, are you there?
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm right back. It's okay.
Oh, they went to company B.
I'll go back. So company, let's see, is that backwards? B. I'm not sure how it looks on the screen.
Yeah, that's good.
And they negotiated with them. They said, okay, we have this, we can show you the post that's gone gangbusters. This is the kind of photography we take. This is what we can do for your product. And they were able to negotiate. The new small business that provides yarn skeins said, oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. This is beautiful. And they were able to show page views. They said, here's the page views that we're getting on this thing. We can send you business. And the new company said, oh my gosh, I love this. They negotiated a great affiliate payout for themselves. The new business paid them cash, gave them $1,000 worth of yarn skeins to make more blankets for their home. I mean, it was just a great, it's.
Oh no, you're frozen again.
Sorry.
That's okay. There you are. Okay, you're back.
Oh, all I was saying is that it's about being brave and it's about finding the businesses that fit your niche.
Oh, you're frozen. Oh, there you are. Okay.
Okay, sorry. All I was saying is that I want to encourage bloggers to be brave and to find businesses in their niche. Take those product review posts, and if they're performing well, take that information and then use that to negotiate with maybe a different business, if the business that you originally did it for. And you can either take that URL and just completely redo the post, or you can start with a new URL if you want to. But what I'm saying is that I think that they did a great job. And in fact, I just posted their story on my blog at thesixfigureblog.com. So you can read all about the design twins and what they did and see their post, which is beautiful photography.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. Okay.
On my blog at thesixfigureblog.com. So you can read all about the design twins and what they did.
Okay. Fantastic. Okay. Can you hear me? Oh, no,
I can hear you just fine, Sarah.
Okay. Sorry. It looks like our connection just a little iffy, but I think we're still good. That is so exciting. That reminds me, someone had asked a question. LaToya had sent me a question about finding sponsors for her blog, which is a faith-based blog. And what would you suggest? Like, she isn't finding posts that will fit her blog that well, because, she sees like a lot of food posts and, lifestyle and DIY, that kind of thing. How would she go about like looking for a company that would be a good fit?
Well, it's funny. I actually did a faith-based post for Sadie Robinson. She does a product line with Dayspring. So that would be one that I would suggest. If you talk to Dayspring and see what new products they're launching, that would definitely be a brand that I would approach. I'm trying to think. I also do a lot with Christian Book from an affiliate program perspective, and I do some great affiliate work with them. But any of the companies, so if you work with Share a Sale or Commission Junction or any of those companies, yes, they have affiliate programs, but those brands also do new product launches. And when they do a new product launch, they're going to have an advertising budget. I think the latest figures that I saw were around $60 billion for advertising budgets across the board. So
Right.
$60 billion going out in an annual basis, I think there's enough for all bloggers to make to make some income. You just have to know where to look and what to how to approach the companies. I do cover that in the course. And you can also PM me on Facebook if you have a specific question. You can check out the course outline so you can see what's there. We just finished the first 12-week course semester, so I kind of look at it just like a college course. I teach it live, so it's not a talking head that you log in and then you go watch a video and that's how you learn. No, I will be there live. And it looks a little bit like if you've ever seen the Brady Bunch, where it shows the little...
Right, like the 6 people.
Yep. And so it's like almost like a honeycomb of faces looking at you when you're logged in. And I want to be able to see you. I want to be able to talk to you. I want to know specifically what's on your mind. Other students are great because they chime in and they help each other. In this particular class, we had a graphic designer. We had someone who had interior design experience. We had some Instagram rock stars. We had someone else who was really very well known in the homeschooling realm. So we had all different kinds of bloggers in there. And it's amazing how when the community comes together, it really is a powerful mastermind. And so that was what we just did in the last 12 weeks. So it's not like any other course that you've purchased. I will be there every single week. I will spend at least an hour to an hour and a half with my students. And then I make myself available. I hand out my personal phone number. So you can call me and ask me questions if you have them. Just not around 7:30 at night because that's when I put my kids down. But other than that, I'm pretty much free.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Let's see. I wanted to just pop in and give everyone the opportunity. If you guys have questions, I know we do have some people watching live. Feel free to type those in the chat, and we will totally try and cover as many as possible. Go ahead and do that in there. And I also had another question that someone had sent in last night, I believe. And this is from April. And she said, what should I do if I want to apply for a post that only slightly works with my blog, but I really love the product? For example, my site will feature new recipes that I have tried from time to time, but it isn't my main focus. So do you suggest people doing posts that are, maybe a little bit removed, like not completely off the wall, but, like not quite the main topic? Is that a good idea, or what do you do with that kind of thing?
I would say yes, and I'll say why. Because if you are working with a sponsored post and that brings you an income to your blog, that's a cash flow, and that's going to help you build your business the way you want to. So I have a student right now who loves fashion, wants to really write about fashion. She really wants to, now that she's at home blogging and she wants to be home with her little ones, she really wants to focus on that arena. And I think it's a great service because I think that, fashion's kind of on my mind, but it's almost like I have to see something to get an idea oh, I do need a bag for spring. Let me go get that, so I love that she's posting this, but she said, she gets hired to do a lot of recipe posts. And I just explained to her, I'm like, maybe you're not, from a size perspective, she would need a bigger following, I think, to really be able to do the fashion the way she wants to. So I'm like, why don't you take that money that you're getting for recipe posts and use it to hire, virtual assistants if you want, or use it to invest in your blog so that you can grow in the fashion arena. And so if she generates that cash flow, and she can use it to build her business the way that she wants to. And over time, she'll be able to gravitate towards that more and more. It's especially difficult when you're in the growth stage and you're early on in your blogging career. Sometimes you do have to do some of the an area that is covered. So for instance, like my blog, Happy and Blessed Home, I started out doing preschool stuff, but I truly do cook every single day. My husband eats 4,000 calories a day. I'm not kidding. So I'm in the kitchen. And I love to share recipes. And so it helps moms that are busy like me. I make a lot of casseroles. Obviously, if you have another human in the house who eats like that, you have to make casseroles. So, stuff like that. And that's what I told her. Her name is Val. I said, Val, think of it as a stepping stone. This isn't obviously she knows how to cook. She wouldn't be doing the recipe post if she didn't know. And she takes beautiful photography, and then let that help you build the business that you want to build over time. And so I would say definitely to go for it and use it as if at the very least as a learning experience. The more you do, the better you're going to get, and you'll build a reputation for yourself. Statement of work, some amount of work that they want you to do, and you perform on that deliverable, they're going to come back. And you can start to build friendships and relationships that way, and let them know, hey, I really love doing these recipe posts, but if you see anything for fashion, would you keep me in mind? Build that relationship. And that's going to help you kind of get that network going that you need to really do your passion in blogging.
Oh, that's such a good idea. So you really recommend like keeping in touch and not just like taking your post and writing it and being done. Do you recommend kind of keeping in touch with these brand reps?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You never know. In fact, I was at a blog conference last July in New York. And one of the things that they talked about was that oftentimes public relations reps will move from one company to another. So for instance, now this is where you might want to do some product reviews. I call this research and development. So on your taxes, you file that under research and development, like you did some free stuff. If you're looking to try to work with, and you really want to work with them, but you're kind of like, gosh, this is really a product review. They're not paying me, but I do like the product, however you make that decision, then do stay in touch with that person, because if they move to another company, so like, let's say on company A, they have no budget, but then they move to company B, they're going to remember you. They're going to say, wow, that person did a great job. They turned it in on time. They drove traffic. I want to work with them. And so I've had a couple of bloggers tell me that this has worked to their advantage. Now, where you have to be careful is that anytime you build a relationship, you want to make sure it's reciprocal. So if you're finding that someone's tapping you all the time, like, let me send you some product and can you write a review? And there's never any monetary compensation. Just know that over the long haul, that's going to ultimately undermine your business purposes. If you don't have cash flow, you're not going to be able to keep your business up and running. And so you really have to kind of work that out. And we talk about that in the course as well. In fact, in the course, I have income and expenses spreadsheets that I give to all my students. The blog planner, which is free on my site, you can get the PDF version of it once you sign up at the Six Figure blog. But the electronic version comes with the course. And so what that enables you to do is you can add rows, you can customize it. My header type font is pink. And if you don't like pink, you can change it to blue, whatever you want to do.
Okay.
So it's just one of the tools that's there.
Okay. I just popped the link up to the course. So people, and I think it's clickable. I'm pretty sure that you can click on the link, and I'll leave it up a little bit here so people can go check that out like now or later. But that's awesome. That sounds really good. Now, what about, I know I have heard a lot of people say that they apply for sponsored posts, through an influencer network or through multiple influencer networks, but they're not getting any posts. Like they don't actually get the gig. So what kinds of things like should people look out for? Like what mistakes are people making when they're applying for these posts?
I would say the biggest thing that you have to overcome is that I don't recommend blogging alone. We need each other. And so everyone has blind spots. When you're blogging and you're writing and you've been writing for a long time, you have a very clear picture in your mind of what you've published. The problem brand or an influencer network coming into your site, and the first time they see it, they may get a completely different impression. And so you want to have friends in the blogging sphere who are willing to go look and do kind of like a site audit for you and go in and take a look at, is the message that you're portraying really what's coming across to someone who's looking at the site new? And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that we make. And it's easy to do because, again, like I said, you've been doing it for so long, you know your content, you know exactly what's there. Of course, it's obvious that you post recipes. And then when you go to your site, there's nothing but DIY and crafts there. So then you don't get the recipe post. So you've got to kind of have someone else taking a look and like being a friend to you in the blogging realm to kind of help you see past that blind spot that you might have and determine what are brands and networks seeing. I do have free training on this if you want to go check it out. It's called, one of the very first things I recommend is a SWOT analysis. And in that stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And I did an entire training before the BYBC conference. It's live and it's free on my site. You're going to want to look for step 1 research. And that's the SWOT analysis I did with Jen from Housewives of Riverton. And we took a look at her site. So Housewives of Riverton had me do a SWOT analysis on her site. And had said, do you work with Kroger? And when we went to look at her site, I saw that they had the only recipe post that she had that you could see on her homepage was a really popular recipe post, but it was a bunch of raw cut up chicken. Is all you could see.
So not completely appealing.
So, you kind of have to like take a step back every once in a while and kind of go, okay, well, before I send this, pitch to Kroger, what does my homepage look right now? So that you can.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And too, you might want to have like a friend or two take a look at whatever it is that you're sending. And again, that's part of the reason, the beauty of the course is all the students get to know each other and they can look at each other's stuff. And like right now, I've been encouraging them to go ahead and partner up and kind of help each other out with their sites. So if they're sending a pitch somewhere, that they can have someone else kind of take a look before they send, and now they all really know each other. So, which is great because it's not like you don't have to page through 50 pages of blog posts to know what the person writes about. You've been in a class with them for 12 weeks. You know exactly what they're about. So it's really awesome to see the camaraderie that's been building over these 12 weeks. And I'm opening the course again because I've had so many really like, I have this friend and she really needs your help, and can you do the class again? And I'm like, yes, okay, we'll do it again. And I'll definitely be teaching this go round, and we'll see what depends on how things go. But right now it's available, and I'm hoping to have a nice size class that's intimate and just can really gel. So I think that's going to be kind of exciting to see how that works.
Oh, so it's really like a mastermind and a course at the same time.
Yep, exactly. And I just, again, I had another, I haven't written her story yet, but Jordan sent me an email last night. She's all excited. She just got accepted to be a brand ambassador for a small kitchen appliance company. I mean, it's a major brand, but they make small kitchen appliances. And so she's so excited. And again, that's where it's finding that right match for your audience and then the brand, and then being brave enough to step out and say, I love your product and I really love to work with you. And then letting the brand know why you make a good fit. And so, and I think brands really want to work with influencers. Some of them just don't even know where to start. And so sometimes we have to be the ones to step out and say, this is a really great fit for my audience, and let me tell you why.
Oh, wow. I love that. I haven't done any of that. That sounds really, that sounds great. Now, how do people decide, like if, let's say, the price is usually set when you're going through an influencer network, but if you are reaching out to a brand and they say, yeah, we'd love to work with you, how much does it cost for a post? How do you decide how much to charge them? And, do you give them different options in terms of, I'll do this, or I'll do this plus a video? Like, how do you come up with a number?
Well, I will tell you, I've read several articles on this. And so, so agencies like PR agencies and ad agencies and brands are looking for a couple of things. They're going to look at your following. That's going to be one of the things that's going to help determine price. They're going to look at your engagement. That's going to be another thing that's going to help them determine price. And then the other thing that they look for is beautiful, authentic content. And so do you authentically write about that type of topic? And do you authentically share about that type of topic? What kind of photography do you do? I think even above following, what I've seen in surveys that they've done of influencer marketing agencies is that they look for authentic content. And then they look for numbers. So from there, as far as determining price, there's a couple different ways you can do it. So, number one is, how do you value your time?
Mm-hmm.
So think about in your mind, how long does it take you to actually produce the post?
Mm-hmm.
And at what rate do you think is fair and reasonable to do that post?
Mm-hmm.
So for instance, if you're doing like a party post, you're going to have to clean your house, you're going to have to prepare the food, you're going to have to get your kids out of the way so they don't show up in any of the pictures. I mean, there's going to be a whole litany of things. Or maybe you want your kids in the pictures, which means you're going to have to bathe them and like iron their clothes.
Iron.
I don't know.
I'm just kidding.
What depends on what you promised in the pitch. And so you have to think about, what is all that time going to take? And so you have to come up with a rate that you won't go below per hour. So like, let's say you'd be willing to do it for $25 an hour or $15 an hour. So know that that's your lowest rate.
Mm-hmm.
You can also go out to, there's something called Social Blue Book. You can go take a look, plug in your site's URL.
Mm. Frozen again. Are you there? There you are. Okay. So plug in your URL.
Yeah, you can plug in your URL and Social Blue Book will give you a value. Now that value is going to be probably a lot higher than what you imagine as your hourly rate. So what I would say is you want to land somewhere in between, and you want to start out, as in any negotiation, you want to start out high and know that you can go lower. Don't ever go in with your lowest bid. So for instance, when I'm negotiating with my husband to travel to Florida to go see my family, I always say I want to go for 5 weeks. Over the summer, the kids are out of school. When I know pretty darn well, I'm probably only going to get 3 weeks, but I'm going to go in for 5 because I want the longest length of time I can have with my family in Florida. And they're like 1,500 miles away. So same thing. You're going to go in a little bit on the high side. You don't want to like be insulting, but you want to be like, here's my value, here's my worth. But know what your bottom line is. You won't go below this point. And then from there, you're going to...
Oh, frozen.
Okay, sorry. It froze again.
Okay.
I was going to say, and from there you negotiate. So you're going to have, are they going to give you free product? Are they going to be able to cross promote your post? Will they pin it? Yeah. Will they put it on their social media platforms? Do they have an email list? Can they share your post as kind of authentic content, or are you on your own? Are you going to have to use only your channels? Because that's going to cost you more time.
Gotcha. The connection is just in and out. It's probably you're probably sharing your Wi-Fi with other people, and someone's down.
Okay,
oh, there you are. Someone's watching
I'm back.
in the next room, right? It's sucking
Anyway, so what I was going to say was, you're just going to negotiate from there. Just know what your bottom line is. I had sent out a survey to bloggers not too long ago, and I had one of the comments for frustrations in working with brands was $40 is not generous. And
$40 total.
$40 total.
Okay. Yeah. That's
Yeah. So I would say, absolutely, draw that line in the sand. Say, you know what? If I don't get at least X, it's no. It's no. I'm not doing it. And if nothing else, the brand or the company asking you is going to respect you more and know that if they come to you again, they're going to have to come with more and they're going to have to bring more to the table. Does that mean you potentially lose out on that piece of work? It could potentially mean that, but you have to value your time.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And then the other thing I would say is supply and demand. That's the other thing that weighs into this. So the supply and demand of your time. So there have been seasons where I am so slammed, like so busy doing sponsored work that I've had to turn some things down and be like, there's just not enough bandwidth in my day to do this thing. If you can continually do that, you can drive your price up. And you can say, okay, well, I'm booked solid for 45 days. I can do your post, but it's going to be, day 60, and I'm going to have to charge, unless you want to go sooner, and then there's an expedite charge, because I'm going to have to get some VA help or something like that. You could do something like that. Or if you're just, let's say you're going through a dry season and you're just not getting any sponsored work at all, and maybe $40 is good. like you're just like, no, I need that right now, then you can make that decision. And don't feel bad about it. You're trying to run a business and you're trying to bring in cash flow. Don't feel bad about it. And that's a special exception. If that company comes back to you a year later and says they want, oh, well, that was back when I was not as busy as I am now, and now my rate has tripled or quadrupled. So don't be afraid to just communicate with brands and companies that you work with. And I would really just strongly discourage you from, unless it's for research and development and you're just doing some testing to see how your audience responds to something, I would discourage against doing stuff for free, just because it ties you up and it doesn't give you the time you need to do the income earning things that you really need to be focusing on to keep your business up and running.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I'm a big fan of, charging what you're worth and valuing your own time, because it's time that you don't have to spend with your family or to do something else, or, to write, to maybe work on an affiliate promotion or to create your own product. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. Or you could do something like you can go through your site and do a site audit and say, where have I done product reviews where I got a lot of page views, and can I approach that company or possibly even a competitor and go try to get a sponsored post out of it? Because now you've got proof. I mean, you've got page views, you've got engagement, you've got social shares. I mean, you've got all this proof that yes, your audience is interested in this, and now you can take that and use it to try and get some additional paid work. So that's what if I had free time and people were asking me to do free stuff, I'm like, I don't have time to do free stuff. I'm pitching for work, like paid work.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Should you ask for payment up front? Like if I've had brands approach me and say, oh, we'd like you to do this post. Is it appropriate to ask them to pay you before you publish the post, or how does that work?
I'll tell you what I've personally done and that I personally recommend. I would say half up front and then half at completion. And so that way you're in part, especially if you're working with a small business. What that does is it's again, everyone has skin in the game. Okay. So you've kind of said, okay, I've made this commitment to do this post. It's half up front. And then you get the other half once performance is complete, once I've met all of the deliverables. And so that means actually putting the post live. It could be any social sharing. It might be reporting out like engagement to the brand, whatever it might be. So that's how I've done it, and it's been pretty effective. If you want to do it without getting paid till after, you can, but that's a little higher risk than I'm comfortable with. So it just depends on you, how comfortable you are with risk. And if you can get the brand to pay you up front and have a positive cash flow, by all means do it. I mean, if you feel like it's not going to in any way endanger the relationship. But again, for the most part, every company that I've worked with, and I've said half up front, half at the completion, I've never had any pushback on that. So it's been a really good way to go.
That sounds like a good arrangement. What about, do you typically let them view the post before it's live, and give them editorial privileges, or how much do you work with them back and forth?
What I would say is that if you're going to do like a draft post before it goes live, and you're going to give them the opportunity to do rework to the post, I would definitely have that as like an upcharge. So maybe it's a $50 upcharge or something like that for them having the opportunity to come in and change it. Because obviously that's going to be rework for you. So depending again on what your rates are, it should be some percentage of it, maybe 10 to 20% upcharge if they want to have the opportunity to rework it. In some cases, you're going to be talking to someone, a brand who has a legal department who needs to see the post before it goes live. You can work that out with them. Again, I think one of the things that has been very helpful for me, again, is because I always approach it from a business perspective. My goal is always to under promise and over deliver. And so I just really approach it like, okay, I'm going to give you the post like exactly how I would post it. Like it's going to look perfect, so that the only thing that they're going to have to change, if anything, is if there's some disclaimer or some little nuance about the product that I might not have been able to discover through research. And then that way they can make that change and cover themselves legally. But yeah, because it does require some rework, and it's probably going to delay when you get payment. So whether it's that second half of payment that you're getting, and again, you're having to keep a cash flow going. So it's not I don't think it's out of the ordinary to ask for an upcharge for something like that.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to pop that link back up here.
Okay.
You said enrollment is open, right?
Yeah, and I want to invite everyone who's at all interested. I am going to be doing a live Zoom webinar, student orientation, on Wednesday, the 17th at 9:30 Mountain Time, US. And I'll give Sarah the Zoom number so that she can share it. No obligation at all. You can just come and watch student orientation. I will actually walk you through what's in the course. I've invited all of the alumni from the course to come, so you can ask them questions. And if you happen to check out some of their stories at sixfigureblog.com, you'll see their like just basically what they've experienced, like the design twins. I'm going to be publishing Jordan from her site was called Jordan's Onion, but I think she's changing it. And then I've also got a story from Anna from Practical and Pretty and some of their success stories. And I'll have more as they get a chance to write them. But yeah, it's been a great experience, and I think you'll love meeting the alumni, and you can ask them questions. And if I need to leave the room so that y'all can be honest, I can do that. But I think almost every single one of them will tell you that it's been well worth the time invested. And I'm just so excited to see the awesome success that they're experiencing. And I want that for everyone. I totally know what it is to be blogging and not earning an income. That's what happened to me for the first 2 years. And so I know how frustrating it can be. I'm going to be as real and as just as open as I can be. I think Sarah can attest to it. I'm very down to earth. I'm going to give you all the business essentials you need. I'm going to help you set everything up. I actually share in the course 13 influencer networks. So if you take a look at however many you're working with now, there may be some that you would have under discovery from taking the course. I also talk about, I give you real pitches that I've sent to real brands, and I only share the ones that worked. So I'm not going to give you some crazy shenanigans. I'm going to give you the ones that worked. So, and I've had some fall flat on their face. So I'm going to give you the stuff that really works.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah, that's all included in the course. All of the spreadsheets that you could use. We talk about, pricing and negotiating. We talk about, we even talk about networking, how to build your blogging network. I talk about photography. I share all my photography tips in the course. I'll show you how I use my DSLR. I even have a videotaped recording of me actually producing an actual sponsored post, so you can see it as I was actually making it. And I may do more. So if I get to add some more video content to the course, I will. So it's as real as you can get, as hands-on as you can get. It's from a blogger who's been doing this for 5 years, who's produced now almost 200 sponsored pieces of material. And we also talk about social sharing. So it's just a really great course. I'll share the Zoom. Yeah, I'll share the Zoom information with you, Sarah, and you can just let your group know. Anyone's invited. Again, no obligation. I'll just walk you through the course.
How much is the course?
It's $187 for the course, and that's a 12-week course. It's not a passive course. It's a hands-on. You could do it on your own time. Like I've had 2 or 3 students who can't make it at class time, but they watch the video replay. So we actually videotape and upload every single time that we meet. So you could do it on your own, but if you can make the class time, which is at 9:30 a.m. on Wednesdays Mountain Time for about 1 to 1.5 hours, that's when you get the most out of the class. It's very hands-on. I'm there to answer your questions. I want to hear what you're struggling with and what your challenges are and how can we overcome that. So, and then basically we brainstorm and we mastermind it and we make sure that you come away with an action plan, like here's what I'm going to do. And in the success stories that I've been publishing this week, that's exactly what we're talking about. Like we had a brainstorming for Anna, and she went out to companies on Hubba, and she got her first sponsored post by working with small businesses. The design twins got, over $1,000 worth of yarn, skeins of yarn, and they knit new blankets, and they got all kinds of cash payout. And that was after a brainstorming that we did in class. And so if you're looking for ideas and you want to make an income from your blog, and you don't want to just be any old brand, you want it to be someone who fits your audience, this is a great class to take. It's exactly what you need, and we will help you get to where you want to go.
Okay. So, and you've got people, like you said, people that are absolutely brand new, all the way through people who already have established blogs.
Yeah. Like I said, like I guess my youngest vlogger, not by age, but by experience, was Brianna. She'd been blogging 5 days. She has been, and this is just to prove that you don't have to have a lot of page views. She's been accepted to 6 influencer networks. So 6 out of the 13 networks that I share, she's been accepted to. And then we talk about strategy in class, like what you want to make sure your homepage looks like. And we actually go through business cards. We go through LinkedIn. We go through setting up your Twitter. I mean, all the profiles, everything that you have front facing for a brand or an influencer network to see has to have a common theme and a message. And we walk through all of that in class. So she got accepted to 6. So, and it's that strategizing and having a plan, I think, that really makes a difference. And then for her personally, she has a tremendous amount of confidence. She knows exactly what she's going after, and she knows what she wants to do with her business. And I think that's what really can make the difference for someone. She's been blogging 5 days. Now the design twins, I think they said that they've been blogging about 6 months when we met. So now they've been blogging about 9 months. But each of them has 100,000 or more on Instagram. So they were already pretty well established on that social platform. But it's funny because, you know, when I talk to them about something like Twitter and how they can use Twitter to grow their business, they're kind of like, how does Twitter work? Like they just, you know, so everyone has kind of their specialty.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where the mastermind piece comes in, because every single student is kind of lending to the group their expertise, and it just makes it a better course for everyone. But again, the part that I specialize in is basically pitching, landing, and creating awesome sponsored content. Like that I know how to do, and I will teach you how to do it. And I want to teach you in a way that sponsors come back for more, and that you can continue to book paid work into the foreseeable future, which gives you like a good sense of security, so that then you can go work on other things you want to for your blog, or continue to work with sponsors if that's what you want to do. So I'm going to give the business essentials that you need so that you can set it up the right way.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I know this is really, really interesting. And I love hearing, you know, what's going on in your neck of the woods. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, you too, Sarah. Thank you so much. And we'll see you soon, I hope.
Okay. Very good. Thanks, Monica.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.